length and the circumference of circles. So let's get started with circumference. This is a word that you should have heard of before. It is the distance around a whole circle, okay? Distance around a whole circle. So we're going to be using formulas for these notes, and you may have already seen these formulas before in 8th grade or 7th grade. So let's get started. Circumference can either be 2 times pi times your radius. Okay, so r is your radius. So for this instance, if the problem gives you the radius, then you would use this formula. But then also you could be given the diameter. So if you're given the diameter, then you would just do pi times your diameter. And that's what the D represents, diameter. Okay. Now, one thing to remember is that if you want to, if they ask you for the radius and you have the diameter, remember that the radius is how much of the diameter? It is half of the diameter. So you would divide the diameter by 2. All right, and let's just get started. It's just formulas and plugging stuff in. So starting with the first one, find the circumference of the circle round to the 10th. Okay, so on this picture, they gave me the radius. How do I know that's the radius? Because it's going from the center to the edge, okay? So then I'm going to use this formula. 2 times pi times my radius. And the only thing I need to plug in is the radius. Sorry. So 2 times pi times 4.5. So let's plug that into Desmos. 2 times pi times 4.5. All right, they want me to round to the 10th. So 10 is only 1 0, so one number after the decimal. So that's 28.27. So the 7 makes the 2 a 3. Okay, and that is it. That's all you have to do. Okay, let's do the next one. Find the circumference, round to the 10th. All right. Okay, looking at this circle, did they give you the radius or the diameter? That is the full length across the circle passing through the center, so that is your diameter. This is not the radius, that's the diameter. So then I'm just going to use the other formula, which is just pi times your diameter. So let's plug in the diameter, which is 16.6. Okay, and then we'll use the calculator to help us because we don't know. Remember, pi is a number that keeps going on forever. So we have to use the calculator. So pi times 16.6. All right, so that's 52 point. There's a 1 and a 5, so the 5 makes the 1 a 2. And this one, they actually gave me the measurements. It's yards, so 52.2 yards. All right, and that is it for circumference. Let's do arc length. Okay, so circumference was the distance around the whole circle. Arc length is a portion of the circumference. It's a portion of it. So I'm not looking at the whole circle, just a portion. So that's why here it would just be this section, just to give you an idea, okay? So it's just a portion of the circumference, not the whole distance, just one section. And we're looking at the arc length, not the degrees, the length, okay? All right, so for this formula, arc length, that's what this AL stands for, arc length, okay? This formula is, there's 2 parts to it. So how many degrees are in a full circle? There's 360 degrees. But for arc length, I only want a portion of it. So it's X degrees of how many degrees you're looking at not minus, sorry, times your circumference. So your section, your portion of the whole 360 circle times the circumference, which is 2 pi r. So this is the portion of the circle times the circumference. So the portion times the circumference. That's the formula. All right. And you don't have to memorize these formulas. You just have to know how to use them. So find the arc length of the circle, round to the hundredths. Okay, so what portion am I looking at here? I'm looking at this bolded portion. How many degrees of the circle is that? It's 145 degrees. They have it labeled for me. Okay, so its arc length is 145 degrees out of the full 360. Okay, 145 degrees out of the full 360 times 2 pi r. What's my radius? They have it right here. 10 times 10. Okay. And then all of this gets plugged into Desmos, but we have to be careful. So let's do it. 145 out of 360 degrees times 2 pi r, which is 10. All right, so here we are. They want us to round to the hundredths. So that's 25.307, but the 7 makes the 0 1. And that is inches. So that's the length of my arc for that section of the circle, for this specific circle. Cannot make these rectangles. Okay. All right. All right, one more. The arc length of the circle around to the hundredths again. Arc length. All right, so what section are we looking at? We're looking at this bolded part. So I need to figure out how many degrees of the circle is that. Well, they didn't give me this portion. What portion did they give me? They gave me this outer portion, which is 210. So how am I going to find the other section? If the full circle is 360, then I can just take away 360 minus 120. That'll give me this section. Not 120, I'm sorry. 210. So 0, 5, 1. 150. So this section is 150 degrees. Okay. All right, let's do our formula now. Your arc length is equal to 150 degrees out of the full 360, because I'm only looking at this set portion, times 2 pi and your radius. Okay, so my radius goes from here to here, so that's 15 times 15. Okay. Again, it's your portion times your circumference, 2 pi r. All right, let's go plug it in and get our answer and round to the hundredths. So 150 out of 360 times 2 pi times 15. All right, this is the number I have. So we're rounding to the hundredths. That is going to be 39. I need 2 numbers in my answer. So 2, 6, but after the 6 is a 9. So that makes the 6 a 7. And this is inches. Okay, that is it. All right, you're going to have a Delta Math to complete, so you can use the back page to write all your work for those, okay? Have a good day.